Hello and welcome back to the Ascensions podcast by the Sacred Gates. My name is Ilura and today's episode is on releasing anxiety and tension in general through the wonderful organ of the skin. I recently did a video on awakening yourself through the skin. That little thingamy-bob will appear now on the YouTube thingy-bob. I can't remember the names of these things, not important. It'll appear now anyway. And I've also done further earlier when I was just doing a podcast rather than video podcast on anxiety. So this is just an updated kind of version on this where I was explaining how to use your hands as a way to tap away the feelings of anxiety as they arose in the moment. Now this is absolutely the same technique, but instead of using your hands, which you always have with you, so I think it's a great thing to do is to use your hands, but you can equally use this little guy here, which is a collection of wooden sticks. Now if you look more closely, they are actually that game pickup sticks, or I think that's also called Mikado maybe. And this is actually a toy from my childhood that I adopted and then adapted to become something more in alignment with what I'm interested in now, by using one of those training elastic bands for exercise and wrapping it around these sticks. So these are just kind of light wood sticks, and just similar to your hand, we are going to tap away anxiety. So if ever you're feeling nervous, anxious, fearful, even irritated, because irritation does come from fear. And so a lot of us get stuck in these childhood patterns when we adopted fear. We copied fearful patternings from our parents often, and we store them in our body. And often we store them in our skin. And a really good way to relieve and release in the moment, it's really important to work on anxiety in the actual moment, or nervousness, irritation, even grumpiness, things like that, things where we feel like we're getting stuck in a loop, in a negative pattern. And a really good way to do it is to release it through what is our largest organ, our skin, because our nervous system is very much connected to our skin. Like if you touch your skin, it does feel really nice, just tickling your skin a little bit. You can feel how sensitive, how nerve conscious, how nerve sensitive your skin is. Now, it's also something that you can do all over your body. You can tap all over your body, and you can also release tension very quickly through this largest organ as it comes out. For if you have experienced nervousness, anxiety, nervous tension before, you know that it kind of gets us on that skin level, often actually in this area of the chest. We get tight and hypertense in this shoulder, heart, middle Dantian area, where we have a lot of emotional substance moving all the time. And if we have these old patterns that come up at different times, it can come up completely unexpected. It can come up, every day when we're doing a particular task. It can come up when someone's talking to you in a way that you're just not able to really handle the topic, or the way they're talking, how you're feeling, your own feelings ultimately. And so this technique, I'm not saying this should be used for a full-blown panic attack. I was just watching some talks by Duff McKagan, who was the bass player of Guns N' Roses, and he's written a couple of really good books. And he suffered from full-on panic attacks. Like, I did not know that you could get panic attacks at this level, and they just come out of the blue. And obviously in those kinds of situations, most people aren't even able to do this kind of tapping. So this is really for people who perhaps are chronically anxious, but at kind of like a low level, but it's just kind of like on, or when just a kind of tightness and change in your energy comes up where you feel tight and these things start to close down, but you're able to still breathe and kind of, pretty much think clearly, but just that your feeling of physicality and your emotion and mental bodies are getting quite brittle and reactive and upset. So this is what you can do. Like I said in the original podcast episode, you can tap your skin like this, and I think it's good to tap it quite firmly. You can go lighter over the joints, and you just tap all. Now I'm talking about like when you're in the middle of this experience, when you're feeling fraught, tap all over. You can tap over your entire body, over your back, over everything. Okay, so I'll just do it up here so you can see. and give it a good whack, you know. So what you're doing is you're not desensitizing your skin, okay? You want to remain a relaxed structure. You want to remain open joints while you do this. Maintain a structure that is open. And you're actually you're not just toughening up and just whacking yourself. You're doing it with discernment. You're doing it with the goal of nourishing yourself. And you're actually just releasing and patting those layers of anxiety away, yeah, those layers of fear away. Now, often if you have a child who's very fearful, often what they need, not all children, but a lot of children can at some point in their journey of fear really do with a good bear hug. And that physical pressure, this is a little bit like that, where you're releasing just those old patterns, those old fear. You're almost patting yourself and saying it's okay, and you're tapping away and reassuring yourself with that with your hand energy. Yeah, it's really good for nervousness and nervous tension, anxiety. It just brings you back to the earth and helps to pat this stuff away. There's a lot of lack of touch in our cultures today, even more so with all this coronavirus stuff going on. I always, I practice martial arts, internal martial arts, and that physical touch is so healing. But a lot of us don't have that. A lot of us didn't get touched as children when we were upset, or as even babies. And I mean, babies can get sick and even die if they're not touched enough. So if you're feeling anxious, a really good way to get in touch with yourself without actually processing anything intellectually, mentally, just get right on into the physical stuff, and just you'll notice it straight away if you feel better. Now, if you're not willing to let go of the anxiety, then of course this practice will do nothing for you. There must be a level of absolute willingness, an absolute willingness to release the trauma, even if it's just trauma in that moment, release the emotion to feel better. There needs to be a willingness to feel better. Okay, here we go. Also is the sticks, and you can do that too. So with the sticks, I start off just a little bit lighter, and I really am conscious of what I'm doing as I tap. I'm very aware of what I'm doing. I go lighter over the joints. I just sit and do this while I watch some videos in the evening. You can do it up on your shoulders, up the top there. Stay away from doing it on your bones, obviously your spine. If you've got someone doing it for you, you don't want to be tapped on the spine. And I wouldn't recommend doing it on the top of the head either, or over very, very fine bones, doing that hard, and go light over the joints. I find it between the heart very helpful. That's where sometimes I store tension there. So you want to just keep working around. You can do it on your ankles, on your thighs, on the backs of your leg is really good. Where you've got a lot of those meridian lines, one of the most emotional meridians is the bladder meridian. That runs all the way down the back of your leg. So that's a really good one to do. Use your discernment. Do it consciously. Like I said, you're not trying to toughen your skin up. You're working to release stored up anxiety and to give yourself a nice place just to release it. Release those nerves through the skin. You're re-educating, reprogramming your body and your mind. And I very much think it's a great idea to do it in the moment. Yeah, so you can just start tapping. If you've got a partner who knows what you're doing, then I'll be like, okay, they're going through some anxiety stuff at the moment, and they'll watch you tap, and you just do it on yourself whenever you need to. Yeah. And you just do that. Yeah. And you often feel refreshed, reprogrammed. Yeah, and it's like taking care of yourself in that way immediately. So yeah, leave your comments, see if this works for you. You can find these little sticks, this kind of thing. Maybe you can buy your own. I think wood is really nice. I wouldn't recommend using plastic. It has a different vibrational quality. I think wood's really warming and nourishing. There's a lot of fire energy in wood. There's a lot of water energy in wood. There's a lot of air energy in wood, and there's a lot of earth energy in wood. And so the culmination, as I did in another video, of all the elements coming together in harmony is the outcome is a healthy wooden energy. And so when you have a tool like this, it's good to just use it only for tapping. If you are in a family, you can share the tapping tool because you share many other things. You're in the same tribe. Otherwise, I would keep your tapping tool just for yourself because you are clearing off your own emotions. And I would just use wood. I wouldn't use plastic if I were you. Yeah, and keep it nice and yeah, you can even use the other side. We experimented in my family on using the other side as well. So yes, here you go. And your hands are always the greatest tool also because they're always with you. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye for now.